Welcome to Lead with Clarity. This is a space for leaders who want to grow without losing themselves in the process. Each episode is a short reflection on leadership, influence, and the inner work that shapes how we show up for others. It's not hype, not noise, just clear thinking for the journey of leading well. Today's episode is entitled The Leadership That Outlasts You. Here we go. I want to start with a scene a lot of leaders eventually find themselves in. It's the day they leave a role, a project, or a company, and they get to watch from the outside what happens to the thing they built. Some leaders watch it fall apart within weeks. Others watch it keep running, keep growing, sometimes even improving without them in the room at all. That difference is not luck. It's the entire point of leadership. Sheryl Sandberg put it simply when she said, "Leadership is about making others better as a result of your presence and making sure that impact lasts in your absence." Most leadership advice stops at the first half. Make others better. Be a good mentor. Be generous with your time. All true, all good. But Sandberg adds the second half, the part that actually tests whether any of it was real. Does it last when you're gone? Here's where a lot of leaders get quietly misled. Being needed feels like success. If your team calls you for every decision, if nothing moves without your sign-off, it can feel like you've built something essential. But that's not leadership. That's a bottleneck with a title. A team that only functions while you're watching has not been developed. It's been managed closely, indefinitely, and that arrangement has an expiration date because every leader eventually leaves the room, whether by choice or otherwise. The leaders who leave something lasting behind do a specific thing differently. They don't just hand off tasks. They hand off judgment. They explain the why behind a decision, not just the what. They let people make smaller mistakes early so those people build the instincts to avoid bigger ones later. It's slower in the short term. It's the only thing that scales in the long term. I think this idea has taken on new weight lately, and it's worth naming directly. In an environment where AI tools can execute almost anything you ask of them, the instinct to keep decision-making centralized gets stronger, not weaker. It's tempting to let a tool draft the plan, run the numbers, or generate the options, and call that leadership. But a tool cannot develop the judgment of the person sitting next to you. It can't teach someone to notice when a plan feels off before the data shows it. That transfer of judgment was always a human responsibility, and it still is. The tools are getting smarter. That makes the judgment gap more visible, not less important. So here's a practical way to think about it. Every time you're about to solve a problem for someone on your team, pause and ask a different question first. What would help this person solve the next one like it themselves? That single habit, repeated often enough, is the difference between a team that depends on you and a team that outlasts you. Watch your own sign-off pile, too. If the number of decisions that require your approval is climbing instead of shrinking, that's a signal, not a compliment. It means you're accumulating dependency instead of building capability. And when you do give credit, be specific about it. Naming exactly what someone did well and why it mattered is what turns a compliment into a lesson they can repeat without you. There's one more piece worth mentioning, because it's easy to miss. Transferring judgment does not mean stepping back entirely. It means staying close enough to notice when someone's reasoning is off, and saying so, while still letting them own the decision. A lot of leaders swing too far in one direction or the other. They either hover over every choice, which teaches nothing, or they disappear completely and call it empowerment, which teaches nothing either. The leaders who get this right stay present as a thinking partner, not as the final word. None of this shows up in a quarterly report. There's no metric for judgment successfully transferred, but you'll know it's working the same way Sandberg's quote suggests. Not by the applause in the room while you're standing in it, by what that room is still capable of long after you've left. That's the real measure of leadership, not what happens when you're watching, but what happens when you're not.